10 foods that will be impossible to find on grocery shelves this fall. The pandemic caused a shortage of almost every commodity under the sun, and even if they were available, they were super expensive. These problems have lessened in the past few months, but terrible weather conditions and the war in Ukraine have further complicated things. Well, brace up for the worst this fall, because these 10 foods will be impossible to find on grocery shelves. Trust me, you don't want to miss our number 1 entry. Number 10. Sir Kensington's ketchup. If you're a Heinz or Hunt's ketchup fan, you'll be unbothered by this announcement. But if you prefer Sir Kensington's ketchup, I hate to remind you of this bittersweet news. Way back in February 2022, the brand announced it would discontinue its fan-favorite ketchup after 13 years of tickling our taste buds. In a post titled Sir Kensington's Ketchup, a eulogy, the company cited price pressure and inflation as the primary reason for saying goodbye to its tasty sauce. Worse still, it's not even profitable for the business. Although this ketchup is a fan favorite, it's no longer Sir Kensington's best-selling product. Apparently, the mayonnaise stole the show, outshining its ketchup counterpart. Above all, it boils down to Unilever, the parent company. They pulled this stunt with Choco Taco, so we're not surprised. What product's next? Only time will tell. In the meantime, enjoy the few bottles of this ketchup on Amazon and stock up on a year's worth because you'll need it. Number 9. Beers, canned food, and pet food. Let's rewind to the 2020 pandemic, where people were panic buying more canned foods and beers than needed. The shopping spree resulted in an unexpected spike in demand for aluminum. 3 years later, and nothing has changed. Shoppers of canned food, pet food, and beer can't help but notice their absence on the shelves. And who's to blame? Labor shortages from the pandemic and supply chain issues, of course. As for the end of the shortage, experts are silent about it. Things may have taken shape, but it's still a puzzle with a few missing pieces. Production plants struggle to keep up with the demand. Aside from aluminum, nature is taking its toll on crop yield and making things even trickier. And let's not forget that carbon dioxide, the ingredient that causes the bubbles in beer, is nowhere to be found. Blame it on a major carbon monoxide production facility contaminated by a volcano in 2022. While this is heartbreaking for beer lovers, there's a world of alcohol-free wine, mocktails, and sparkling juices waiting to be explored. Number 8. Rice. The prediction isn't looking up for rice lovers, because experts say we're about to experience the lowest rice production in 2 decades. Environmental factors like heat waves, droughts, and flooding have taken a toll on the climate, especially in China and Pakistan, one of the largest rice producers. When you think it wouldn't get worse, demand has risen due to the Russian-Ukrainian war. Consumers are now looking for alternatives to Ukrainian wheat, and guess what's stepping in those shoes? You guessed right. Not minding the repercussions, India banned the export of non-basmati white rice earlier this year. The ban aims to reduce prices and ensure availability for consumers at home. Whoa, the announcement sent shockwaves through the global food market and forced shoppers to race to stores hoping to secure a rice supply. The worst hit are non-resident Indians who need the rice to prepare their native dishes. The videos of the rush are even more terrific. Luckily, this shortage could end in 2024, all things being equal. But we know things are never equal. Number 7. Sugar. Only those with a sweet tooth will frown on this news, but for the others who are already cut sugar out of their diet, it's about time to say, I told you. Again, there's an Indian twist on the tale. The country decided it would not raise its quota on sugar exports to meet demand. And the reason is quite like the first. Locals need this sweetness more than their global market does. Meanwhile, supplies from Mexico, Brazil, Thailand, China, Pakistan, and Bangladesh are at their lowest. Speaking of Bangladesh, their sugar story is a unique one. The country is currently grappling with flood and drought, leading to a significant drop in production. Sugarcane harvests in the past few months have been nothing to write home about. If you're hoping to find packs of sugar on the shelves, prepare a wallet workout. But hey, considering the health risks of sugar, this is a perfect time to switch to healthier alternatives. Number 6. Corn. Ukraine is a corn powerhouse, churning out over 31 million tons annually. But then, Russia decides to invade and crash the corn party. So, expect less corn in the coming months, or maybe years, depending on when the war ends. This is problematic because corn is the secret ingredient in many American products like soda, salad dressings, chips, bread, pies, beverages. You name it, it probably has corn in it. If you think you're worst hit by the crisis, consider how Ukrainian farmers are faring. These folks are dealing with a double dilemma. Not only do they earn less, but the war results in higher risks and logistical costs. Plus, there's little or no incentive to maximize output. On the brighter note, US farmers plan to go heavy on corn to cushion the effect of the scarcity. We'll see how that goes, dear cornrads. Number 5. Eggs. Eggs are the new liquid gold. In fact, 2023 started with a new mantra, eggflation, referring to the ongoing crisis in America's egg supply. These days, if you're cracking an egg for breakfast, consider yourself lucky. Yes, there was COVID, and now the Russian-Ukrainian war, but that's not what's stealing the eggs. The drama started when a deadly outbreak of highly pathogenic avian influenza, popularly known as bird flu, crashed on the chickens. It declared war on over 58 million of them, leading to massive deaths. Higher prices of chicken feed are making matters worse. Egg companies aren't helping matters either. They're basically just taking advantage of the situation to milk extra profit from consumers. When you walk into the store this fall, expect one of two things. You'll either meet deserted shelves or eggs selling for twice the price. And if you're waiting for the end of the egg saga, too bad. It may not happen anytime soon. By the way, please suggest possible alternatives in the comment box below. Someone might need it. Number 4. Beef. "Where's the beef?" was a catchphrase coined in 1984 and used to question fast food companies for their lack of meat. Fast forward to 2023, when we're reminded of that phrase. In 2022, farmers and ranchers had to grapple with turbulent weather. The year started badly for Texas, the country's largest beef producer. The state suffered extreme drought for most of the months, with farmers selling off their cattle prematurely to stay afloat. Slaughter levels escalated, and only those who stocked up for the year were safe. As you know, supplies have dwindled, and higher prices are just by the door. The closure of meat processing plants during the pandemic was another factor. It disrupted production and supply chain, with beef playing the hide-and-seek game. It also led to a reduction in herd size since farmers sold their cows earlier than usual. Higher prices could potentially reduce the number of beef consumers by half this fall. Number 3. Champagne. On a lighter note, there will be fewer drunk parties this fall because champagne may be nowhere to be found. It all started with a miscalculation during the 2020 lockdown. After fearing a drop in demand for champagne, the Interprofessional Champagne Wine Committee announced a 20% mandatory decrease in production quantity. Little did they know that wine lovers, locked indoors for weeks unending, drank more champagne than ever before, causing a sales boom. Fast forward to 2022, when 326 million bottles were shipped worldwide. Of course, producers are struggling to keep up. Drought in the past few months, especially in California and the Champagne region in France, makes it difficult to keep the bottles filled. Considering that many champagne types take up to 4 years to prepare, it might take us ages for producers to balance demand and supply. If we don't start hoarding like we did with toilet paper, we'll have enough for the rest of the year. A few bottles for that special occasion will do the trick. Number 2. Orange and orange juice. As the fall begins in 2023, prepare to ditch or expand your orange juice budget. We're talking about a gallon reaching up to $10. After Hurricane Ian blasted Florida in September 2022, thousands of orange trees fell victim to the storm. As a result, the Sunshine State's orange production fell by 51% in the 2022-2023 growing season. This is the lowest output in the state since 1936 to 1937. But hold on, the weather isn't the only enemy squeezing life out of this Florida's orange business. A villain called citrus greening ravaging crops in the city is also to blame. While hurricane losses are easily recoverable, the same cannot be said for this deadly disease. The menace has worsened in the last few years, shooting up prices and threatening the supply of the fruit and its byproducts, including our favorite fruit juice. Consumers will likely have to look for other sources of vitamin C in 2023. Something tells me that strawberries are excited about this whole situation. Those red delights are a rich source of vitamin C as well. Number 1. Infant formula. Just when parents thought having a baby was a wild adventure, they're now faced with a more challenging task of accessing infant formula. In 2022, Abbott, the US's largest infant formula manufacturer and makers of Alumentum, Similac, and Elecare, recalled its products after discovering bacteria in its facility. The company temporarily shut down its operation to sort things out. It was already a full-blown shortage crisis by May, with more than 40% of the usual stock going MIA. Big retailers like Target and CVS whipped out purchase limits to manage the situation. Thankfully, the White House intervened with Operation Fly Formula, aimed at importing infant formula from other countries that meet US health and safety standards. This slightly eased the situation, but didn't do much. Reuters predicts the shortage will linger longer than expected. Even Reckitt Benckiser announced that it cannot increase production or stock to 2021 levels. While some DIY mothers want to whip up these formulas at home, experts say fat, protein, vitamin, and mineral rations are nearly impossible to replicate. Whether things get tougher or not, stocking your pantry brings a certain level of comfort. What's that one item you can't do without this fall? Please tell us in the comment box below and smash the subscribe button to keep up with our future videos. See you soon.